Hello students, welcome to our online class Standard 10 Social Science. As already you know that Rajput sir has started with chapter 1 Social Science with the history section. I am going to start with the geography section. Chapter number 8, that is natural resources. Now resources, first of all the definition of the resource or what is called a resource. Resource means anything that is useful to a person, to a human being. For example, a piece of a land is there, but a land, if a man is not using that land for constructing a building or building a school or they are constructing an industry over there, then it's a useless thing. But man, through his intellect, through his ability, through his talent, through his skill, if they are doing any useful work on that piece of a land, then it is called a resource. Means a resource means any useful thing. A man, by his intellect, skill, whatever they are creating, that is called a resource. Earlier times, people were not knowing the use of minerals. It was just lying idle. But as time passed, people came to know about the uses of minerals. So now mineral is a resource. There are two types of resources. Natural resource, that the whole chapter we are having, and second is man-made resource. But in this chapter we are just going to focus on natural resources. Now resources, what are the uses of resource? Uses of resource, number one, as a food. As a food that we are getting fruits, vegetables, different crops are obtained, then even meat, milk products, everything we are getting from nature. So as a food it is useful. Raw material. Raw materials, we are getting different kinds of raw material for industry like cotton, jute, agro products which are there. So as a raw material it is useful. Energy resource. Petroleum, natural gas which are used in industries also and even as a domestic fuel also. So resources uses three are there. If it's asked in an exam in a 2-mark question, then you can write as a food, then you just write down the example. Raw materials, you write down the examples, and energy resources. Now resources they have classified. They have classified the resources on the basis of ownership and distribution. Ownership, so there are again three. First is ownership individual, second that is national, and third that is international or global. Individual resource. Individual resource, the name itself it says individual, a person. Resource which is held by a person or by a family. Example land, building, that's an example of individual resource. Second, national resource. Within a country, within a region, the resources which are available, example army, Indian army, it's a national resource. Third, global or international resource. Throughout the world you will find, that is ocean. Ocean, it comes under the category of global resource. Then we have another distribution. Resources classified on the basis of distribution. Distribution equally means the distribution of the resources. So there you have four. First is universal, found everywhere. You go in any part of the world you will find that resource. Example, useful gases in the atmosphere, oxygen, nitrogen. So that comes in the category of universal resource. Second is generally available or easily available. So land, pasture land, soil, these are all the easily available resources. Third, rare resources. You won't find everywhere. Hard means at very few places you will find those resources like minerals, gold, copper, bauxite. That's why they are costly also and very difficult to. We need to import them from other countries. The countries, those who don't have, they need to buy from the other countries. So rare resources. And the fourth one is solitary resources. That is one or two places only you will find. Like cryolite. Cryolite is a colorless substance. It's one type of mineral which is found in Greenland, that's in Denmark. So distribution we have 4: universal, then we have generally available, third rare resources, and fourth solitary resources. Now types of resources that we have classified in the type of renewable and non-renewable, or you can say exhaustible and inexhaustible. Renewable itself means the resources who has capacity to renew itself, to regenerate itself, to reproduce itself. That comes in the category of renewable resources. Birds, animals comes in this category of renewable. Non-renewable cannot regenerate, cannot renew, cannot reproduce. Once it is used, then we cannot use it again. Or you can say exhaustible resources also. So all minerals which are there, natural gas and everything comes in non-renewable resources. As human needs are increasing, the people's one need is fulfilled, another need arises. So because of that, what happened, that these resources which are there, the resources which we have, they are in a limited quantity. And because of development in science and technology, due to population explosion, what happened? People are carelessly using these resources. The resources are decreasing in number. So another important topic, what we need to study, planning and conservation. Planning and conservation is very necessary. Planning has to be done because we have renewable and non-renewable resources. There are resources which we are not going to get it back. Once it is used, it's over. So what about the future generation? How they will get the advantage or the benefit of those resources? So planning has to be done. Conservation of the resource should be there. Conservation is directly linked with scarcity of resource. Where there is scarcity, conservation is necessary. So what planning? So we have 7 steps in that. First, gather information. Gather information about available resources, utilized resources, unutilized resources, where it is lying. All information had to be gathered about the different resources which are found in the world. Non-renewable resources, we know we cannot get it back once it is used. So those resources has to be used in a very scientific manner. People are using it in a haphazard manner. Scientific manner, those resources should be used because they are non-renewable resources. Third, attempt should be made, especially for what? For the renewable resources. The resources which can reproduce, which we can regenerate. So attempt should be made that those resources, the quantity of those resources should be increased. Fourth, non-renewable resources should not be wasted. People, when and where it is necessary, there only they should use this non-renewable resources. Alternatives should be found out for the non-renewable resources like solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy. So alternative options should be found out of the non-renewable resources. 6, very important, laws should be formed. People, those who are cutting down the trees, killing birds and animals, so laws should be formed for the conservation of these resources. And 7, citizens. Citizens should be made aware. People should be made aware that it is their responsibility, it is their duty to protect these resources, to conserve these resources. That is very necessary. Now another important topic about soil. We just studied about planning and conservation of soil. Now soil formation, how soil is formed. Generally what people have in mind that how soil is formed or what is soil, that the layer on which vegetation grow. Generally they think like that the vegetation grow, that is called as soil. Here you can see that soil formation means it is a part of parental rock. Parental rock, that is the rocks from which the soil is formed. That is called parental rock or the bed rock. Parental rocks, then as time passes, denudation is there, breaking up of the rock is there into small parts, and then subsoil is formed. Breaking of the rock because of the humidity, because of the air, because of the weather, because of the rainfall, breaking of the rock is there, and then it's formed into subsoil. And then topsoil, that is the thin layer which you will find on the top, that is topsoil, and on which vegetation is growing. So soil formation, it's a very long process, more than 100 years it takes to form a soil. And the soil, what type of soil it is, that will decide about the quality of the crop. If the soil is very fertile, the quality of the crop, the quality of the vegetation can be good. Soil, what is soil? The upper crust of the earth is called soil. Where the vegetation is growing, that is called soil. And that soil, it contains humus. Humus means decay of dead animals, birds, which people are putting so that the quality of the soil can increase, the fertility of the soil can increase, so that humus you will find inside. Now the types of soils we are going to study further, that according to Indian Council of Agricultural Research, ICAR, short form, ICAR of Indian Council of Agricultural Research has divided soil into 8 parts. There are 8 classifications of the soil that we will study now. I will draw the whole table and so that you can study properly. Types of soil. Now types of soil on the basis of divided by ICAR, Indian Council for Agricultural Research. First, alluvial soil. 43% you will find in our country, in India. 43% of the land area is covered by alluvial soil. Alluvial soil, 2 types we have, Khadar and Bangar. New type of soil and old type of soil. Where we will find Gujarat, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, there you will find this type of soil. Especially near the river you will find this type of soil, alluvial soil. It's very rich in potash and lime, but it lacks in nitrogen and phosphorus. As it is found near the river, running water is there, so it cannot hold the soil for a very long time. Crops like Rabi and Kharif crop. Rabi crops, winter season crop, wheat can be grown. Then the Kharif crop, rice, wheat, rice you will find which are grown maximum in alluvial soil. Second type, that is black soil. 15% of the land area in India is covered by black soil. Black soil is also called rigor soil or black cotton soil. There are many names. Black soil you will find in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, where black soil is found in maximum. Lime, iron, that you will find it is very rich in lime and iron, but it lacks in organic matter. Now black soil, cotton is grown maximum because the characteristics suitable for the production of cotton that is found in black soil. Then wheat and rice can also be grown. Cotton is grown in maximum, especially in Gujarat you will find, in Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, where cotton textile industries are also there. So it is also called black cotton soil, or it is also called rigor soil. Next we have red soil. 19% of the land area is covered by the red soil. Red, the name red because of the presence of iron oxide in it. That's why it is red in color. Found in Orissa, Chhattisgarh, iron oxide is there, ferric oxide is there, that's why it is red in color. But it lacks in organic matter. And crops like sugarcane or different pulses, moong, tuver dal, etc. can be grown in red soil. Next, laterite soil. Laterite means later. Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, in the southern part of the country you will find this laterite soil is found. Iron again, laterite soil is red in color because of the presence of ferric oxide or iron oxide, but lacks in nitrogen. Laterite soil, when it is wet, It is smooth like butter. Easily a person can plow it. But when it starts becoming dry, it becomes very hard to plow the land. So that is a special characteristic of this laterite soil. And there you can grow crops like tea, coffee, rubber, etc. That are the cash crops. You can grow cash crops in laterite soil. Fifth type of soil, that is desert soil. Semi-arid or arid region. Arid, that is dry area. So in dry area you will find this desert soil. Western Rajasthan, in northern part of Gujarat, this type of soil is found. It is rich in soluble soil, but it lacks in humus. Humus, that is decay of dead animals and birds. That's why the quality of the soil, that is not good for the crops. Here you can find crops like barley, millet, maize, the coarse grains which are there, that you will find grown in desert soil. Next, mountain soil. On the mountain which you find, altitude at the height of 2700 meters to 3000 meters you will find this soil available. It is rich in nitrogen, but it lacks in organic matter. So again, this soil is not suitable for the irrigation. Pine and cedar trees are grown over there. Then we have forest soil. Forest, little above from mountain soil, 3000 to 3100 meters height which is having. Like Uttarakhand, then you go to Darjeeling, Himachal Pradesh, you will find this forest soil is there. Nitrogen, rich in nitrogen but lacks in organic matter. Wheat, maize can be grown over there. Last is marshy. Marshy means a very wet type of soil which is there. West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, especially in West Bengal. West Bengal, because here the floods are taking place, the rainfall is very heavy, and when after the rainfall, when the water recedes away, then these crops are grown. Example, rice. Rice is specially grown in the marshy soil. Rich in potash, but it lacks in biotic elements, sunlight, air, that it is lacking. But rice can be grown, paddy can be grown in marshy soil. Especially in West Bengal you will find this type of soil. So 8 types of soil we have studied. Now moving to the next topic.
So 8 types of soil. Now soil erosion. Soil erosion, that is transportation of soil particles from one place to another, moving of the soil. Soil which is transported from one place to another place by natural agents. Natural agents like air, because of the wind, the soil particles are transferred from one place to another place. Then because of the running water, floods take place and the soil particles are transported from one place to another place. So soil erosion takes place. So when soil erosion takes place, what happens? The quality of the soil that declines, that starts degrading. Degradation of the soil takes place, and so the quality of the crops cannot be good, or the quantity of the crops decreases. So what measures has to be taken to stop this soil erosion? First, control of grazing. Cattle grazing takes place. Because of that, it reduces the soil. Second, contour method. Contour method, that is on a slopy land. Slopy lands, slopy hills where they are. There farming should be done, like terrace farming should be done, so that the soil does not transport or does not flow away, because in slopy area generally this problems arises of flowing away of the soil with the water. Fallow land, wasteland which is there, barren land which is there, on that vegetation should be grown. Check dams should be constructed, especially along with the rivers. Check dams should be there, so that again the soil does not flow away. Cultivate very deeply, that is agriculture, the things what we are growing, that has to be cultivated very deeply, so that the roots can hold the soil particles, or when the running water, when the flood is there, the soil does not flow away. So cultivation has to be done very deeply. Another important topic, soil conservation. Conservation, already before we saw about the conservation of resources. When there is a scarcity of resource, the problem of, or we can say that conservation arises. Why conservation of soil is necessary? Because we need to maintain the quality of the soil. We want to prevent soil erosion. We don't want that the soil erosion should take place because the fertility of the crop is reducing. So, soil conservation is very necessary to prevent soil erosion and to maintain its quality. So, for that we have certain remedies how we can conserve the soil. First, that the root of the trees which are there, they can hold the soil. So, afforestation should be there, more and more trees should be grown, especially in the desert region, because in desert region, because of the wind, the soil particles are transported. So, if trees are grown over there, then soil particles will not be transported. We can divert the flow of the water. If the flood is taking place, then we can divert the flow of the water into another river. Unrestricted pasturing, cattle grazing which is done. So, in the area where cattle grazing is done, where it is unrestricted, not restricted. So, what has happened that soil erosion takes place. So, that has to be controlled. We need to control that activity. Different methods like contour method, just so as I said, on the slopy area, terrace farming should be done, horizontal farming should be done. So, different methods should be adopted to control soil erosion. And last, humus should be added. Decay of dead birds and animals should be added so that the quality of the soil can be increased. So, in this chapter we studied about what is resource, then the types of resources, then about soil, soil conservation, then about the soil erosion, the remedies. Everything what we have studied, it is not only responsibility of the government itself, but we as a responsible citizen need to participate in this activity to conserve our resource, our natural resources. Thank you.